Hi, my name is Daud and I welcome you all to Shivjyoti online classes. Today, together, we are going to study English Literature, Chapter 12, A Game of Hopscotch. Chapter 12, A Game of Hopscotch. It's on page number 115. I repeat, page number 115. A Game of Hopscotch. Have you heard about this game before? If you haven't, then before we start this chapter, before we get inside it, I would like to first let you know what is this game. So this is that game of hopscotch. You draw blocks like this, and you write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then all you need to do is this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is that game of hopscotch. List of characters. We are going to first know the major characters, the main characters in this story. Who are the main characters? Tinku, Mary, Shadow and Paro. These four are the major characters in the story. We have found your internal questions right here. I'm going to write the internal question number 1 on the board for you here. It's list the main characters of this story. Question number 1. List the main characters. List the main characters of this story. If you were paying attention, you'll be able to tell. List the main characters of this story. You can mark the answer here. Answer number 1 of internal question: Tinku, Mary, Shadow and Paro. These four are the main characters of this story. Tinku is a little girl who lives in a remote cottage in Duliatal with her parents and her cousin Paro. One day, while wandering across the hills, she meets Mary, a girl of her age, and Shadow, her dog. They talk and play together for some time till Mary leaves when she hears her father's horse trotting up the road. A few days later, Mary helps Tinku's aunts find their way back to their cottage, but leaves before they actually reach it. Tinku is sad that she could not meet her friend. A few months pass before the two meet again on a day when Tinku is alone at home with Paro. So, this is a story of this girl, Tinku. She is a little girl and she lives in a remote cottage in Duliatal with her parents. Duliatal is a place near Nainital, and it's like a hill station. It's a very beautiful place. Now we will show you how cottage looks like. Cottage, a cottage is a small beautiful house. We are going to show you a few pictures of some beautiful cottages. But before we show you the pictures of beautiful houses, beautiful small houses known as cottages, I want you to mark these answers. Internal question number 2. Who is Tinku? Where does she live? Question number 2. Who is Tinku? Where does she live? Who is Tinku? Where does she live? Who is Tinku? Where does she live? Alright? Here is your answer. Tinku is a little girl who lives in a remote cottage in Duliatal with her parents. This is your answer. You can mark it here. Duliatal is a place near Nainital, and now we will show you the pictures of cottage. Right now you can see a picture of a cottage on your screen. Tinku is a little girl who lives in a remote cottage in Duliatal with her parents and her cousin Paro. Now, how did Tinku meet Mary? How did she meet her? One day she was wandering, across the hills, mountains. She was wandering there. She was just roaming around and having fun. And that's how she meets Mary. And who is Mary? She is a girl of her age, a person she would like to be friends with. And Shadow, with Mary, who was there was a dog, and the name of the dog is shadow. So imagine Tinku, Miri and the dog, okay? They are on a hill right now. They talk and play together for some time till Miri leaves when she hears her father's trotting up the road. And Tinku and Miri, they are playing together, and the dog is also playing there. But Miri leaves when they hear the trotting of her father's horse. Now you must be thinking, what is trotting? Actually, there are three things. You walk, you do the jogging, and you run. Okay? I hope you know the difference. When you walk, you walk. When you're jogging, it's neither running nor walking, it's jogging. And when you run, you are running as fast as possible. That's your fastest walk when you're running. With horse, can be these three things. Horse walk, when the horse is walking, and horse then trot. Just like we do the jogging, horses do the trotting. It's not their top speed, but they are they are not walking, they are trotting. It's faster than walking. Okay, so when this girl Miri, she would hear the trotting of her father's horse, she would leave. So that's what happened. They were playing and she hears the trotting of her father's horse, and that's when she leaves. A few days later, Miri helps Tinku's aunts find their way back to their cottage. Few days later, this little girl Miri, she's helping Tinku's aunties to find their way back to their cottage, but leaves before they actually reach it. And when they were about to reach, Miri leaves, Miri vanishes. Tinku is sad that she could not meet her friend. If a few months pass before the two meet again on a day when Tinku is alone at home with Paro. And now they are about to meet again after a few months. Tinku is alone at home with her cousin Paro. And there is nobody in the house. It's just Tinku and the cousin Paro. Let's see what will happen, how will they meet. Tinku pulls out a tissue while sneezing. This awful cold, how long will I be stuck indoors because of this? Here is the picture of Tinku, as you can see. She's a girl like you, just like, she's of your age only. Tinku pulls out a tissue while sneezing. Tinku is pulling out the tissue. So Tinku pulls out a tissue while sneezing. Now you might be thinking about the word sneezing. Sneezing means cheek. So Tinku is sneezing and she pulls out a tissue. This awful cold, and then she says, this awful cold, how long will I be stuck indoors because of this? Because of this cold, I am unable to go out of the house. I'm stuck indoors. For how long will I have to stay inside the house? She looks outside the window. It is raining and a thick mist is swirling over the hills. Suddenly she hears a voice from behind, and then she's looking outside the window. For how long I will stay here? And she can see that it's raining outside and it's mist outside. Mist is like jo kohra hota hai. That is mist. So she's through the window she is able to see that it's raining outside, but suddenly she hears a voice from behind, and then Tinku is turning around to see. Try some eucalyptus oil. Daddy says it's very good for cold. And then she hears somebody say, try some eucalyptus oil. My father says it's very good for cold. Your cold will go away if you will use this eucalyptus oil. Tinku jumps in surprise. She has not heard anyone come in. She turns around quickly to see a figure in an old-fashioned raincoat. A little dog stands by the figure, wagging its tail. So Tinku was looking outside the window. Suddenly she heard a voice, try this eucalyptus oil. My daddy says it's good for cold. And then she turns around and she jumps in surprise. Oh my God, it's you! Because she is now able to recognize it was her friend Miri with her dog Shadow. And they are about to meet after a very long time. They met a long time before on the hills. Now they are meeting again. And Tinku is completely surprised. She is very happy to see her. She turns around quickly to see in an old-fashioned raincoat. Miri is wearing a raincoat also. Tinku excited. She's very excited. She says, Miri and Shadow too, how nice of you to come and see me. I was wondering where you were all these days. And then she says, I was wondering where have you been. I was really missing you, and it's so nice of you that you have come to see me. I was laid up with fever. Then Miri says that I was suffering from fever. Because of fever I was on bed rest. I couldn't leave the bed. Shadow curls up before the electric heater while Miri takes off her raincoat. So it's raining outside and it's very cold also. And as you can see here, the electric heater, they are using the electric heater, and the dog Shadow, the dog curls up before the electric heater. There is an electric heater and the dog is sitting and enjoying the heat of the electric heater, and in the meantime Miri is taking off her raincoat. Miri looks at the carpet. My shoes are a little muddy and Shadow has left muddy paw marks all over the place. I'm so sorry. I hope your parents won't be cross. And then since it's raining outside, it has to be muddy. Okay, so she says, yeah, my shoes are muddy, and your carpet is dirty now because of my shoes. I hope your parents won't be annoyed. I hope your parents won't get angry about this. And paws of my dog is also, of Shadow is also muddy, and we have because of us your carpet has become dirty. We have dirtied your carpet, and I hope your parents won't be annoyed about this. Tinku says, don't worry about that. I'll clean it before my parents return. No, my dear friend Miri, don't worry about that. I'll clean it before my parents come back home. I'll definitely clean it. They won't find out about this. I'll clean all this mud from here. Don't worry. Miri says, they have gone to Nainital, haven't they? And then Miri says, they have gone to Nainital, haven't they? Tinku surprised. Huh? How did you know? Miri, oh, I must have heard someone mention it while walking downhill. Oh, I think I must have heard somebody saying this while walking down the hill. I did not know, I overheard it. It's quite dark outside. Miri pulls a dainty lace-edged handkerchief out of her pocket. A strong smell of eucalyptus fills the place. Miri, try smelling this. It will make you feel better. Since Tinku is suffering from cold and she is sneezing all the time, so Miri takes out a handkerchief from her pocket, and it's filled with the smell of eucalyptus. And she is giving it to Tinku. Hey, my friend Tinku, try to smell this hanky of mine. It will help you. It will make you feel better. Your cold will go away. Tinku, sniffing the handkerchief. It does smell nice. Well, how did you get in? Miri, Paro always locks the door when Ma isn't here. Now the this girl Tinku is smelling the handkerchief. It smells nice, Miri. And by the way, how did you get inside? I think the door was locked. Paro always locks the door when Ma isn't home. When Ma isn't here, Paro always locks the door. How did you manage to come in? That's what Tinku has started to wonder suddenly. Miri, she must have forgotten to close it today. And then Miri says, oh, she must have forgotten to close it today. It was open. I've come, the door was open. Maybe she forgot to close it today. Looking around, may I keep my ulster on that bag? It's quite wet. And then she's asking, may I keep my ulster somewhere here? And then she says, Tinku says curiously, what's an ulster? What is an ulster? Miri surprised, my overcoat. Have you not heard the word before? And then she says, my overcoat. Haven't you heard this word before, ulster? Overcoat, are the coats which they are, below your knee. They are so that they come till here. Okay, long coat, overcoat. Tinku, not really anyway. I must thank you for showing my aunts the way home that evening. You should have come in, all of us would have enjoyed ourselves. Then Tinku says, oh, thank you my dear friend Mary. I must thank you for showing my aunts the way to home that evening. You really helped them and I really appreciate your help, and you should have joined us, you should have come, and we could have enjoyed together. We would have had so much fun if you would have come. Why didn't you come that evening? Mary said, I am very sorry. My father would be very worried if I did not get home in the evening. He is afraid I may get lost. And then she says, the problem is that my father is always concerned about me, and he starts to get worried, and he wants me inside the house before, at the time of evening, because he is worried that I might get lost. Tinku, how could you get lost with shadow around? Oh, I don't think that can happen. How can you get lost with having shadow around? She meant to say that you have your dog with you. You can never be lost. Your dog, will take you home anyway. Mary laughing, ha ha ha, I wouldn't, but daddy says that it is very easy to lose one's way in these hills like your aunts did the other day. And then Mary says, yeah, I know, but my father says that, it's very easy to lose your way in these hills, in these areas. Just like your aunts, they lost their way that evening, that day. He thinks that I can also be, lost someday in these hills. I might, forget the way. I might be lost, which he didn't want to happen. Tinku, thank goodness they met you. But Mary, what is your father's name? No one knew who he was when I said he is a doctor who visits his parents on horseback. They thought I was joking. And then Tinku says, Mary, I wanted to ask you this question. What's the name of your father? Actually, I was talking to people about your father, and I said he is a doctor and he comes to visit his parents on a horse, and nobody knew about him, and people thought I was just joking. What's his name again? Can you tell me his name? Mary, I thought everyone knew him. Mary said, I thought everyone knew my father. Tinku, I forgot to mention he is British. Maybe that is why. Then Tinku says, maybe I forgot to mention that he is British. That's why people couldn't that's why people couldn't recognize. Maybe I needed to mention that he's a British man. Mary interrupts her, but he is the only doctor here. But then Mary says, he is the only doctor here. Tinku laughing merrily. Oh no, Mary, there are many doctors at Duliatal. There is Dr. Raval and Dr. Boss and बहुत सारे is telling, she is telling about so many doctors. Tinku says, oh Mary, there are many doctors here, and Dr. Raval, Dr. Boss, okay? Mary talking very fast. Tinku, do you want to play hopscotch now? Mary is asking Tinku, do you want to play hopscotch now? And Mary is being a little fast now. Tinku interested, and she is interested. She is sounding interested when she says, I have never heard of it. Will you teach me? I have never heard of such game. Will you teach me? What is that game? Mary cheerfully, I have a piece of chalk in my pocket. I will draw the court in that corner of the carpet. We don't have a flat stone to use. Do you have a bobby pin? Tinku, no, can't we use anything else? Mary, it's alright, use mine. You will need it for throwing. Now they are playing this hopscotch game. They are going to play this hopscotch game. She's saying that, I have a piece of chalk in my pocket and I'm going to draw the court here in this corner, just like we were showing you in the beginning of today's lesson. Same way they are about to play, and they are using this bobby pin. Bobby pin is that hairpin which girls use for keeping the hair, the way they want to tie. It's used for that purpose, but they are using it for this game here now, and they are enjoying their game, quickly drawing large squares on the maroon carpet. On the maroon carpet, they have drawn large squares, just like the squares we were showing you in the beginning of this lesson. Take the bobby pin and throw it inside the first square. Like this, throws the pin into a square, and then she is throwing the pin into one of that square. the two girls start playing a lively game, and then they have started to play a lively game. By lively here we mean, it's the sound of laughter, and it's a joyful feeling, and it's a very positive atmosphere there, and they are enjoying their game. And by the way, we have found our internal question here. So are you ready for that? Okay, I'm going to write this internal question on the board for you here. What do the two girls start? What do the two girls start? What do the two girls start? Here is our answer. What do the two girls start? You can mark the answer here. The two girls start playing a lively game. The two girls start playing a lively game. You can see Tinku here. She is playing hopscotch. The room is filled with the sound of their laughter when Shadow suddenly barks softly and jumps up in his corner. Mary looks at him surprised. They are, laughing and enjoying, but suddenly their dog Shadow barks, woo, woo, and the dog is barking softly. Mary hears the sound of hooves. Oh, Daddy is back from his visits. Tinku, I must be off. Pull the ulster on. Come on, Shadow, we must run. And Mary gets to hear the sound of her father's horse again. Oh, Tinku, we need to go now. And she started to, behave in a manner of rush. Tinku, we need to go now. And she is wearing her overcoat, and they are about to leave now. We must run. And then she says to her dog, come on Shadow, we must run. Tinku, wait, call him and tell him you are playing with me. Tinku says, wait now please, don't go. Just tell him that you are playing with me. Mary vanishes with Shadow, and Tinku cannot see her anyway. And Mary then vanishes with Shadow, and Tinku cannot see her anywhere. Then this girl Mary and her dog, they both vanishes. And Tinku cannot see her anywhere now. Tinku, okay, we will finish the game the next time. Sitting down, Paro, will you please close the door, and can you get me a mop to wipe these muddy marks? Then Tinku says, okay, we will finish the game the next time. Because they could not finish the game, she had to leave in between. This girl Mary, she left in between. And now the girl Tinku says, Paro, will you please close the door? And can you get me a mop? I wanted to wipe these muddy marks from the floor and the carpet. Please get me a mop. And then Paro replies from the kitchen, I locked the door in the morning, right after uncle and auntie left. And then she walks into Tinku's room. What muddy marks are you talking about, by the way? I don't see any muddy mark here. And then Pintu pointing to the carpet. There! She's pointing to the carpet. There, see. There are no marks on the carpet. Tinku, look. And then Paro says, there are no marks on the carpet. Tinku, look. And Tinku also looks again then. Tinku standing up, surprised. But Mary and Shadow were just standing there. And she drew the hopscotch court there too. And then she says, they were standing here and we drew the hopscotch court also. Where did everything go? Paro kindly, and then Paro says kindly, you must have fallen asleep, poor thing. You were dreaming. Do you want some ginger tea? And then she says, and then Paro says, you might have been dreaming, you might have fallen asleep. It was just a dream. Can I get you some good tea? A ginger tea? Tinku crossly, I was not dreaming. Mary was here with Shadow and she gave me her handkerchief. Look, no, I was not dreaming. I was not dreaming. Mary was here with her dog, and I'll show you the handkerchief she gave me. See, look. But there was no handkerchief there. But Tinku cannot find the handkerchief. Only a faint smell of eucalyptus lingers in the air. Only the smell of eucalyptus was in the air. Okay, so this is it with this story. And before before we move further, we would like to give our sincere thanks to the writer and the poets. So this is adapted from Tinku at Duliatal by Swapna Datta. So the name of the writer is Swapna Datta. So now we will start the copywork, chapter number 12, a game of hopscotch. First we will start with new words. Trotting. For horse and other animal, walk slowest, then trot faster than walk, and then run the fastest. Okay? You hear that sound. Sneezing. Achoo! This is sneezing. Swirling. Swirling is when it's mist out there or सब कोहरा जो छा जाता है, that is swirling. Voice. You hear my voice? Awaz. That is the meaning of the word voice. Muddy, full of mud. Handkerchief, rumal. Throwing. This is throwing, when you throw something. Vanishes means to disappear. Mop means pocha. We use it for the cleaning purposes. Dreaming means when you dream something, when you are asleep and you see something going on in your mind. Next, word meanings. Tissue, a piece of paper used as a handkerchief. Mist, a light, thin cloud. Laid up means made to stay in bed. Dainty means small, pretty and delicate. Now the question and answers. Answer the following questions. Why was Tinku surprised when she heard Miri's voice? Tinku was surprised when she heard Miri's voice because she was alone in her room and had not heard anyone come in. She did not hear any footsteps, but so she had to be surprised. How could she come in there without making any noise and when the door was even locked? Where did Miri meet Tinku's aunts? How did she help them? Where did Miri meet Tinku's aunts? Miri met Tinku's aunts when they were lost in the hills. And how did she help them? She helped them find their way back to the cottage. She helped them find their way back to the cottage because they were lost there. How did Miri explain the rules of hopscotch to Tinku? Did Tinku enjoy the game? Miri drew the hopscotch court on the carpet. She drew the court on the carpet with a piece of chalk and showed Tinku how to throw the bobby pin inside a square. Yes, Tinku enjoyed playing the game. Why did Miri leave suddenly? Why did Miri leave suddenly? Suddenly she vanished. Why did she do that? Miri left suddenly because she heard father's horse trotting uphill. Okay, she heard the sound of her father's horse. Read the lines and answer the following questions. How nice of you to come and see me. I was wondering where you were all these days. Who speaks the above lines? Who speaks the above lines? Yes, you're right, Tinku. Tinku speaks the above lines. Who has come to see her? Her friend Miri, along with her dog Shadow, has come to meet her. What reason did Miri give for the long absence? Miri said that she was laid up with fever, which means that she was suffering from fever and she was on bed rest. This is the excuse that she gave to her friend Tinku. Now we will talk about make sentences. Interested. I am interested in photography. I am interested in playing cricket. So you're getting it? Interested. Laughing. They were laughing at jokes. Laughing, okay? Surprised. David was surprised to see his friend after a long time. Just like Tinku was surprised to see her friend Miri after a long time. Oh my God, Miri, it's you! Similarly, David was surprised to see his friend after a long time, and you get so happy suddenly and excited. Anyone, we should not hurt anyone. Okay, so this is it with this chapter. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you very soon again. I really enjoyed spending this time with you, and I hope you really enjoyed knowing about the game hopscotch and studying this chapter with me. I'll see you very soon in the live session. Peace be with you. God bless you.